is that these policies, they're not just destroying lives, they're rooted in lies, all of them.
But the real underlying thing is that there is no climate crisis.
Tonight we venture into a world of what-ifs and weather wonders. What if global warming was just a tall tale, a hoax, a figment of our collective imagination, a mirage in the desert of our minds, a phantom in the fog of our fears? But before you dismiss this as mere fantasy, consider the implications. What if the melting glaciers, the rising sea levels, and the scorching heat waves were all part of an elaborate ruse, a grand illusion conjured by the wizards of science and the sorcerers of politics? Together, we'll unravel the tangled web of climate conspiracies, dissect the monstrous myths of melting ice caps, and expose the ghastly ghosts of greenhouse gases. Firstly, consider the academic world and scientists. Professors and researchers who've built their careers on climate science would find themselves in a quagmire of questions and doubt. Journals filled with climate research would be discredited, and retractions would flood the academic landscape like a tsunami of humiliation. And let's not forget the grants, funding pulled, research halted, and entire departments disbanded. Scientists could face lawsuits for misappropriation of funds or even academic fraud. These scientists would be blacklisted from conferences, journals, and academic circles worldwide. But what of politics? Climate change drives many policy decisions. If it were fake, it would be a political apocalypse. First, consider the elections. Politicians who've campaigned on climate action would find their platforms crumbling beneath them. But what of international relations? Climate accords like the Paris Agreement would be rendered meaningless, causing geopolitical rifts and alliances to crumble. And let's not forget regulations, emission standards, carbon taxes, and renewable energy mandates would be thrown into disarray. The political parties, the ideological divides would deepen as climate change skeptics claim victory, while environmentalists face existential crises. Imagine the scandals, leaked emails, whistleblower revelations, and congressional hearings would become the daily bread of political discourse. The voice of the people will be heard. First, consider the marches. Streets would be flooded with protesters, signs held high, chanting slogans of betrayal and demanding accountability. But what of the demonstrations? Government buildings and university campuses would become stages for organized rallies. And let's not forget the civil unrest. As tensions rise, peaceful protests could give way to more aggressive actions. Vandalism, looting, and clashes with law enforcement could erupt like a volcano of visceral vexation. Imagine the cultural response: songs, paintings, and performance art capturing the zeitgeist of disillusionment would proliferate. The global movement, protests would not be confined to one country, they would spread like wildfire across borders. Consider the social media frenzy. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram would be ablaze with debates, memes, and viral videos, a digital wildfire of disbelief. The headlines, newspapers, websites, and TV channels would be flooded with sensational stories, each more shocking than the last. But what of the talk shows? Hosts would invite a parade of pundits to dissect the scandal, each spewing their own brand of speculation. Reporters would dig deep into the archives, unearthing emails, documents, and interviews to expose the grand deception. But what of the conspiracy theorists? They would claim vindication, fueling a new wave of outlandish theories. Conspiracy theorists who've been ridiculed for years would suddenly find themselves in the spotlight. With one conspiracy proven true, a Pandora's box of possibilities would open. Flat Earth, moon landing hoaxes, and lizard people would gain new life. Theories once relegated to the fringes would find their way into mainstream discourse. Overnight, streaming platforms would be flooded with new titles exploring every conceivable conspiracy. Forums, subreddits, and chat rooms would be buzzing with activity, each more frenzied than the last. Conspiracy theorists would run for office, and some might even win, bringing their outlandish ideas into the halls of power. Charismatic leaders would gather followers, preaching the newly validated gospel of conspiracy. And let's not forget the activists. Their life's work would be called into question, leading to existential crises and ideological implosions. The school's lesson plans would be rewritten, textbooks recalled, and a new generation would grow up questioning the veracity of science itself. An academic apocalypse. The local communities, town hall meetings, city council debates, and local elections would be thrown into disarray. Let us part with this thought: the world is full of mysteries, uncertainties, and yes, even hoaxes. A glimpse into a world where global warming is fake,